Hey, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Eat, Drink, and Be Merry show. Today, we are really going to have a good time. We're going to talk about an amazing wine founded by Chrishon Lampley. Chrishon, welcome to the show. And I think we're moving on up.
I love it.
Oh,
Thank you. Thanks for having
Nancy
me.
and I have been having so much fun with your wine, and it's good wine.
Thank you.
And it's got, you know what? I love the messaging, and it is really fun. Just all the different labels. Tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Sure. I've been in the industry a long time, over 25 years. I've actually been in this industry. Cheers to you. I've owned Love-Cork-Screw about 9 years now. Literally over 1 million bottles sold. So I am a negociant in this industry. So I source and I create each varietal. I make it my own. So I buy the grapes from the producers, and then I definitely handle everything from harvest all the way to when the juice hits the bottle. So I've been doing this a long time. I have 8 different varietals now. 2 I source in California, the others I source in Michigan, and super exciting. As of today, I'm sourcing one out of Chile that I'm very excited about, very excited about. It'll be a new Sauvignon Blanc of mine. But the names came from just being in this industry. We know it's a $130 billion industry, and not everyone knows how to pronounce Bordeaux, Chianti, Chenin Blanc, nor care to, but they want to enjoy some great wine. So I knew that on the shelves, the first thing people see is the label. They always say number 1's the label, number 2 the price, number 3 the taste. People go back for 1 and 2 and don't even really like the wine, but because it's something they can imagine their expectations, they'll buy it again because it's confusing. It's confusing.
Well,
so
you've made it
I just
fun.
knew I wanted good names. Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. And wine at one point was so snobby, like you're like was so snobby. You're scared to taste. You're scared to ask questions. And I think the wine industry, I always say this on shows, the wine industry had to learn from the beer industry to loosen up a little bit, have some fun, so that you can sell your wine, and your labels do it. Love-Cork-Screw. We were laughing at that at the very beginning too. I mean, that's interesting too. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
And that's what I want. I want fun. Like we said, there'll be 99 sommeliers with 100 different answers. You like what you like. Your taste buds like what your taste buds like. And I wanted to make it really fun and approachable, easy, and not so confusing when you're walking down the wine aisle. And I think that's what Love-Cork-Screw did. I think it was fun.
So you're almost everywhere where people can get, like even Walmart and Target. You've got products too. You've got candles, a cookbook. And I was reading, what I really love is you're vegan. That is really interesting because a lot of people think all wine is vegan.
Wines are vegan, right?
But there are wines where Nancy and I both are really highly allergic to fish. And I know that it's going to have to do with, I don't know, the acid or the sulfur or something.
Right, the preservatives. So
I sometimes wonder, sometimes we have wine and it's like, we can feel a little bit of something. And I don't know if it has to do with fish bones.
So yes, so a lot of it is within the preservatives, actually, from whether it's filtered in eggshells to definitely some fish products end up being within the preservatives of wine. So I always wanted to make sure that all my wines were vegan for those reasons. Now, I'm not a vegan, however, all my wines are, but I am one that's highly sensitive to things. Even when I came to producing my candles and body butters, I have eczema and I've always have allergic reactions to things. So I think about everyone that has that. As a child, I'm allergic to nuts and
me too.
So oh my gosh, so I get it, and that's why I wanted to do something that again it was actually honestly more about people having allergic reaction than it was to me deciding to do it vegan. It's just because I get it as a child. I got it, and I wanted to make sure that I appealed to everyone and that no one had any issues drinking my wine.
And I wanted to touch on this too. You're a woman in wine, which there's very few, but I'm seeing more and more ladies nowadays. But I think you're going to be the first African-American woman in wine that we have met. Am I right about this?
I'm sure there's literally a handful of us. And if you want me to actually be completely technical, there's only 60 African-American women that are either negociants, vineyard owners, or winery owners out of 111,000 in the world that do all that. So we're less than 1%. So definitely that's possible. Do I know most of the African-American women that are winemakers in the industry? Yes. because we're so small. It's such a small community. So to definitely bring a light to diversity and inclusion within this industry, know that we exist, has been amazing these last couple of years of people actually just Googling African American women wine, and bloop, Love-Cork-Screw pops up.
There you go.
Yeah, right. I've been here for
Exactly.
so long, and definitely being out of Chicago, out of the Midwest, it's definitely a surprise to a lot of people. And so I'm here to surprise and to break every glass ceiling till there's no more to be broken.
So, you know, but I love that because it really, you saying coming out of Chicago, and then like here you are, you're going to, you know, California for grapes and sourcing there, but now going to Michigan. The last time we talked about Michigan wine on our show, it was really about ice wine. And we spent some time up in Michigan last year, and then up in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I was amazed at the wine because it's kind of close, right?
Right.
How good the wines were coming out of that area.
Everyone's always shocked. I mean, there's over 50 wineries in Illinois that people don't know. And it's so interesting to me because, you know, living in Chicago, and definitely I'm right on the lakefront, right near the city, literally right in the city. You know, literally you drive 15 miles outside the city, you have farmland. Like I always tell people, this is Illinois. Think of it, Illinois. Don't just think of Chicago. Right. And definitely when you hit Michigan, as I'm driving to Michigan, I have to go to Michigan a lot. It gets like 15 degrees warmer, like literally as I drive from Chicago. So there's just some beautiful land that sits between the Kalamazoo and Lake Michigan that is just really great for grape growing. I was just there in Michigan, a few weeks back doing a video shoot, and the grapes are lovely. It's not all about ice wines. Yes, there are situations where our weather causes us to panic, but that's sometimes. Cool. And that's what makes it fun, right? That's why we have such small batches. But there's more than ice wine here. There's so much more. We have great Riesling. I mean, it's just awesome climate, and different climate for growing grapes for sure.
When you're sourcing from Michigan, like you're saying, what are you in, what kind of varietals are going to come out of this? What kind of wine can we expect?
Definitely some of the sweeter wines. So I have my Niagara and Concord. So you think of your, your American Indian grapes. These are the grapes, yes, used, like the Concord is used to make jams and jellies, right? They're really finicky grapes, and they're hard to travel. So that's why people don't make Concord in California, right? It's definitely a Midwest to East Coast thing. However, they're so much fun to work with, and they're naturally sweet. So it's not, you're not just thinking of your serious like Moscatos and these really super sweet blends or ports. They're just naturally sweet. They almost have like a watery finish that's just really light and delicious. So I definitely do Niagara and Concord out of Michigan, as well as, people are surprised, I do a great Riesling. It's definitely a crisp Riesling. It's a fun Riesling, very different than California, very different than your German Rieslings, but it's so much fun. I think it has a little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of lemon zest, and they're really refreshing. And they're not always super sweet. Mine is actually semi-sweet. So those are the wines I do out of Michigan, and I do a great Pinot. I do a great Pinot Grigio out of Michigan.
The Pinot, that's what Nancy's sipping on right now. Nancy's not, we have a technical problem. Thank goodness for your wine, because we're going to be enjoying that now. But I want to say, I'm having the rosé. Okay, the rosé to me, it's not overly sweet. And at one point, I think when rosé came out, people were going, "Is that the Zin? Is that white Zin that comes out of that box?" And it's not. And this rosé to me would be perfect for Thanksgiving right now. As Thanksgiving and the holidays come up.
Yes, it's 100% Syrah, actually. It's 100% Syrah. And to your point,
that's why I like it.
I wanted to do something that people are like, well, why don't you just make a Zinfandel and call it rosé? Because that's something easy, right? And I did not want to really go sweet, and I didn't want to go super dry. I wanted some flavor to it. And I wanted it to be fun. So I think I have to do about 2.13 residual sugar in that rosé. So it's just enough.
It's perfect.
Just to get a
perfect balance. It's not too tart, or you know what I mean? It's just got that nice smooth, like, oh, hello, I'm here.
Right. It's so much fun, and it's such a beautiful color. And I was really excited. That's actually my second vintage, actually behind you. So people that are watching, if they see right behind on the screen where my wines are, that's when I used a Chambourceau grape. So that's a much darker rosé that I did at one point. So you're actually sipping on my new rosé, and people are falling in love with it. So
it's called We Go High.
Yes, We Go High.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah,
we love that.
Oh my gosh. So literally, like I said, I live in Chicago, and I am about 6 blocks away from Michelle Obama and Obama's house. So it was for me very Chicago, very ode to Chicago. I live in a very historical neighborhood of Hyde Park, and I'm sure some people that are tuning in know Hyde Park. Just has amazing architect, and it's just a beautiful part of Chicago. So it was just actually just in honor of Chicago. But obviously, some people think of it as something that's legal in several states
Mhm.
as well, and that's fine too. I look at my labels as double entendres. I want them to be fun, whimsical, and they really relate to pop culture, to African American culture in some cases, to just culture in general. Hard Knock Life was because I was a classical trained pianist for 13 years,
Oh, wow.
and I wanted to be Annie, because I
Yeah,
was actually born with red hair.
right on.
So I always wanted to be Annie, and I look at the red in the Concord grape, and I thought of Annie. So I just want them, all the labels, to just take it the way you like to take it. Let it be special to you.
I love that you're also in an approachable area to get the wine, like we were talking about Walmart, Target for your candles.
Yeah. Yes.
So getting into those markets, how hard was that?
Oh gosh, 8.5 years in. Some of them I'm just hitting in the last year or two. I was very fortunate to enter some of the large stores when I first started. Those of you may not know out there, but it's connected with Albertsons and Kroger's. Is called Mariano's, a very high-end grocery store here in the city. And literally when I launched, they were the first to take me in, which was humongous. They just saw my labels. The owners fell in love with it. Next thing you know, I'm in 200 stores. So I'll be honest, 9 years ago, that was completely unheard of, especially a new brand coming in. So then the press just started building. Just me being a minority in this industry started building, and I do a lot of speaking engagements, and it took off. So I would say about 2 years ago, when I hit Total Wines and More and Walmart and Target stores and
Total Wines. We
Costco's
love that
World
store.
Market store. Oh my God, Total Wines was a huge advocate for Love-Cork-Screw. It's just surreal. So I went from 2 states to 12 states in the matter of 2 months. So it's been a whirlwind, but I ship nationwide. So it's just it's been crazy. Love-Cork-Screw has skyrocketed in the last couple of years. It's unreal.
I think you're a wonderful business lesson for young entrepreneurs or anybody making a startup. Right now, we're looking at people going, hey, I'm not going back into the workforce. I'm starting something on my own, which I think is exciting. That I know COVID is a negative, but there's this positive shift that is happening for people to fulfill their dreams and goals. I go, okay, I'm going to do this.
Gosh,
any words of encouragement for folks to stick with it?
Oh my God, do it now. There's so many opportunities. Like you said, there's so many grants to start small businesses. There's so much money, and there's great, when I think about 10 years ago trying to get a small business loan and think about these high interest rates, and you had to attach your house to it and stuff. You don't even have to do that anymore. They want to feed into some of these small businesses. So definitely is a time it's a time of reawakening. It's a time of aha moment for a lot of people, of realizing being away from your family and being at these 9 to 5s, you're at work more than you are with your own family. So what's awesome is to be able to work from home. Definitely take the time to engage in the people you love and care about, but also follow your dreams and go for it. So I encourage anyone that, as we know, life is too short. So do it now. And I never want to say, I wish I coulda, shoulda at 80 years old. I want to say I did it. And even if you fail, that's
fail
okay.
forward fast. That's your lesson.
God.
Yeah, that's your success. That's how you learn.
Tons of times. And Love-Cork-Screw is now huge. So it takes time, but please go for it. Go for it.
And also in that vein, do you say part of your success is that you went for it, but you also put yourself out there in the media, like you're talking about, doing press and getting out there? I think sometimes in businesses, we get a little shy about that. And it's actually really important to put your face out there, and have a good message, because your messaging starts with your wine label here, and the good thing is you've got great messaging, but you've got good wine to back up the messaging. So they're perfectly paired. But getting out there, if you're going to put yourself out there, to be prepared with what you have to say.
You have to sell it. At the end of the day, you have to have some marketing sales skills to it, because I say, you think of old school back in the 70s and 80s, whether you had a record or a mixtape, you think of all these artists that were absolutely amazing, but you never heard, because
Right.
they never got the opportunity to be in front of the masses, right? They're amazing singers, but you never heard them. Amazing performers, you never heard them. But then there's some that you're like, they were mediocre, but they were
Yes.
hugely popular, right? You think about like the Pet Rock, that company made millions of dollars off of a rock. But what, it was the marketing, right? The chia pet, that's a weed, but it was the market. So my point is, yes, you cannot be scared to be out there, because you can have an amazing product. If it's just a hobby, that's one thing. But if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be out there, and you have to get out and tell your story, because what makes you so special? I'm not reinventing the wheel, but my product is special to me. And I'm trying to make a voice in utilizing my story. And that's very important with all products.
When you think back to the very first time you said, okay, I'm going to do something in wine, do you remember that moment when you kind of went, I'm going to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to own an art gallery, and I knew that I should do it, because we had a bar within that gallery. I knew I should do it because I created the wine list. And when I created the wine list, we actually won Chicago's best for the best wine list. So I said, okay, I'm good at this, whatever this is. And I wasn't sure exactly at the time. I was just doing what I always knew as a salesperson, because I've been in sales and marketing for so long, that it's not about you. It's about everyone else. If you actually listen, you might see what people really want. And that's what I did with the wine list. So when our art gallery closed, unfortunately, it was one of those aha moments of, I need to be in this industry specifically. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to go with it, but I need to grow it. And it grew from a radio show to a blog, and next thing you know, I have my own brand. So that's
and you're all over the place. Look
and I'm all over the country.
And so people can order from your website, Love-Cork-Screw.com.
Love-Cork-Screw.com, and also by all means patronize the stores and locations that carry Love-Cork-Screw, and in the California area, predominantly Total Wines and More, Walmart. But of course, they can order from Love-Cork-Screw.com as well.
Okay, last question. I know you're into music. You're a pianist, right? You make wonderful wine. Okay, perfect meal right now. Think about the holidays. We're in fall, going into winter. For just, if you're going to have a really fine meal, what's it going to be? What wine and what music in the background? Even if you're cooking the meal, we've got to have music and wine.
I love it. You know what I love? My significant other makes absolutely amazing lobster mac and cheese. So I would love lobster mac and cheese, a good filet mignon, and oh gosh, I love a good glass of Tempranillo or a Cabernet Sauvignon. That's actually my absolute fave. And I really want it just really gritty and muddy and deep and delicious.
And and mysterious.
Yes. And the soundtrack is just amazing, like European house music, just this amazing like vibe of like Buddha music, just fun and like just really fun. I want fun. I don't want you to fall asleep. I want just to feel good, because
why do we always have to? No offense to the classical pianist, right? But
no.
Why is it that it's always, as soon as it's like, oh, we're going to have classical music? Why can't we have fun music while we're eating in the background?
Why can't we? And that's so funny, because when I have dinner parties, and definitely when I used to entertain back in my day, that I would have a DJ here, like playing like fun music, because I want the vibe to stay fun. I don't want people to say, okay, you know, after I eat this meal, I'm going home. No, I want us to talk and have a great vibe over wine. And so I like upbeat, fun music. Doesn't have to be techno, like boom, 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 boom. But I want some just vibing and great energy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Your wine is a pleasure. Your sentimentality and what you put out in the world is a pleasure. So thank you so much. And continued success to you, for sure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Love and light to you.
All right, everyone, Love-Cork-Screw.com. You can't forget that. All right,
you cannot.
All right.